Chapter 3, we are talking about um, team building blocks that includes norms, goals, roles, communication, leaders, and the members. So I'm going to read from the book today. I feel like when I flip through the PowerPoint slide, it distracts me and I get long-winded. So some things that I've highlighted from the reading this week. Group norms are agreed upon standards of behavior. Group norms are explicit or can be made explicit, and they're commonly referred to as ground rules, agreements, group charters, conditions, and guidelines. However, not all norms are explicit. Some are inferred. In many progressive organizations, errors are considered teaching moments, but which is great that it's not always punitive when somebody makes an error at work. But in healthcare, if you make a mistake, it could be very detrimental. And so, not that we don't forgive mistakes in healthcare, but we do a lot of work to prevent them. So just keep that in mind as you're working with a healthcare team, that you want to work very hard to not make errors as a group. Goals are like norms. The ease of goal attainment is related to the level of goal complexity. Well, of course it is. The more complex a goal is, the harder it is going to be attained. But when you work together as a group, commonly you can get through that task pretty quickly, or quicker, I guess I should say. To add to the complexity, interdisciplinary team members bring diverse professional values, individual goals. They're influenced by different relationships, different education levels. So there is a lot of complexity when it comes to working as a healthcare team. Doesn't mean that it can't be effective, it's just complex. Groups that continually communicate are the ones that are the most successful. That is true no matter if it's a group of 5, 7, 30. That's a very high number for a group. But the ultimate communication really makes the difference in the outcome if you're working as a healthcare team. So roles is on page 35 into 36. Roles are not necessarily attached to any individual, but are assumed in the response of the group's developmental needs. There's task roles, maintenance roles, organizational roles, and you can keep reading on page 36. The table on page 37 does a great job of Belbin's team roles, breaking it down between the thought-oriented, action-oriented, and people-oriented, and the different team role and the allowable weaknesses, and also the contributions that are right in the middle of that table. Da, 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 da. So if a team member, where do I have that highlighted? Hang on. If a group is composed of members who assume only those roles related to job completion while ignoring the roles that engage and facilitate member participation, run the risk of diminished cohesion. So in an unmanaged conflict, when you are in a healthcare team group, or any group for that matter, we really have to work together to have that cohesion and make improvements as we go along. 39, communication styles. First step in productive communication is to get the attention of the person you're trying to communicate with. The Johari window is mentioned in the next couple of pages, page 40, 41. I don't want to read all that to you, but the different quadrants in the figure, they mean something different. The open area, the blind area, hidden area, unknown area, and you'll want to familiarize yourself with where the good stuff is, and if the unknown area is not reduced, and the group runs the risk of not being able to leverage the individual talents, things like that. Those quadrants are important. As you read it, please let me know if you have any questions. I'm just trying to keep my video shorter. Communication networks start on page 44. What was my takeaway from here? It's just communication. So it talks about problem solving, data analysis, the centralized network, if you will, of communicating. And figures 3A, 3, 3A is a centralized network, and 3B is a decentralized network. The difference is there. Page 47, it talks about um, health, HIT, Health information technology, thank you. I had to read it. Can support collaborative practice when it's designed to to inform the culture values goal of the healthcare system. That is important. We do have, for health information technology, it was a mandate. I'm going to get the year wrong. 2010 is coming to mind. I can't remember, but all hospitals, doctor's office, etc., had to be moved over to computer charting and computer documentation for the electronic health record, etc. But it's still a little bit jumbled in 2022. We do not have like a single one. All these companies jumped on board. So there's Epic, there's this, there's MyChart there, and believe it or not, each hospital system has their own. So what the hospital uses in Wilson does not match the hospitals that the electronic record they use in Raleigh. And anyway, so it's still a little bit. I believe the chapter referred to this as webbed like a weave like a spider web. So it's connecting, but it's not perfect yet. Page 48. Recent healthcare reforms have linked reimbursement to patient outcomes, such as length of stay, readmission rates, and patient satisfaction versus how many procedures and services you provide. So that's huge. It's a quality based repayment system, and so that your book mentions that because it does take a group, it does take a healthcare team to get to those great outcomes and that patient satisfaction. Okay, that is it for chapter 3. Again, when you read it, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to outreach me for clarification. Thanks.